Hello and welcome to this session. This is Professor Farhat. In this session, we would look at CPA questions that are covered typically on the CPA BEC section. Those cost terminology will also be covered in your managerial or cost accounting course, which you can learn about these courses at my website, farhatlectures.com. So let's go ahead and get started and answer some of these questions. If a product required a great deal of electricity to produce and crude oil prices went up, which of the following costs most likely increase? So we're producing a product and electricity went up. Would direct material be affected? Well, anything could be affected, but looking at this limited data, at this limited information, what is direct material? Direct material is material that can be easily traced to the product. Is electricity direct material? And hopefully we know that electricity is not. Electricity is considered overhead because we cannot really directly trace the electricity to a specific product. So direct material is out. Would direct labor increase? Who knows? It could increase, but we don't know. Okay, but direct labor is the labor that touched the product itself. Electricity is not labor. Okay, so we could eliminate direct labor. With prime cost, well, you need to know what a prime cost is. Prime cost is direct material plus direct labor, and we already eliminated direct labor and direct material, so that's out. Well, by process of elimination, what's left for us is D. D is conversion cost. What is conversion cost? Conversion cost, and you need to know this basically, is direct labor plus manufacturing overhead. So yes, overhead will go up. As a result, conversion cost will increase, therefore the answer is D. So you need to know what conversion cost is. Conversion cost is direct labor plus overhead. Prime cost is direct material plus direct labor. Make sure you know the difference. And that's why this is a basic cost terminology session. Which of the following best describe direct labor? Well, so what is that? Basically, where can we find direct labor? Well, direct labor is the labor that touches the product, that can be easily traced to the product. Prime cost. What is prime cost? Once again, prime cost is direct labor plus direct material. So yes, it is possible that prime cost, that's possible. It could be an answer. A period cost. A period cost is a cost that's expensed in the period. Which is not direct labor. Direct labor is not a period cost. Direct labor, to be more specific, is a product cost. Product cost means what? It's a cost that is inventory, that's treated as an asset, that gets added to our product. So it's an asset until it's sold. Therefore, direct labor is a product cost, but also direct labor is part of the prime cost. Both a product cost and a prime cost. So the answer is yes. Direct labor is part of the prime cost and definitely a product cost. Therefore, the answer is D. The answer is D as in David. Inventoriable cost. What do I mean by inventoriable cost? Well, I'm going to tell you what inventoriable costs are. Direct labor, direct material, and manufacturing overhead. Those three costs that we inventory. Inventory means what? It means when we manufacture a product, we take those three costs and we treat them as an asset, which is that asset that we're manufacturing is called inventory. So what are inventoriable costs? Well, let's see. It includes only prime cost. What's prime cost? Direct labor plus direct material. Nope, that's wrong because it also includes manufacturing overhead. Include only conversion cost. Well, what's conversion cost? Direct labor plus manufacturing overhead. That's not true because it also includes direct material. So we're down to 50-50. Are expensed when product became part of the finished goods? Absolutely not. They are assets. They are capitalized when the product is finished. Therefore, what we're left with D must be the answer, are regarded as assets before the product are sold. Exactly. Inventoriable costs are treated as an asset until the product is sold. This is at that point we will expense them as cost of goods sold once they are sold. To look at number 4, the unit cost for direct material, machining, and assembly of manufacturing product represent what? Conversion cost. Conversion cost is direct labor plus manufacturing overhead. Well, do we have any direct labor here? We don't have direct labor. We have direct material, which is the material. We don't have the labor here. Okay, so A is out. Separable cost. What is separable cost? Separable costs are costs that are incurred beyond the point at which a jointly produced item became separate items. So we'll talk about this later, but it has nothing to do with this cost here. Okay? Committed cost. What is committed cost? It's the cost that result when an entity holds fixed asset. Like when you have a lease, that's an example of a fixed cost. A committed cost. Well, that's not the cost here that we are discussing. By process of elimination, we are left with D. And what is D? D is prime cost. Prime cost is direct material plus direct labor. And here what we're talking about is direct material, definitely there. Machining and assembly, we're going to incur direct labor hour. Therefore, prime cost is the answer. In cost terminology, number 5, conversion cost. What does conversion cost consist of? I'm going to tell you right now. You have to memorize this. It's direct labor plus manufacturing overhead. So we need those two to convert the product. Direct and indirect labor, no. Direct labor and direct material, that's a prime cost. Out. Direct labor and manufacturing overhead, you got it. That's the answer. Indirect labor and factory overhead, no, it's direct labor. So you have to memorize. So basically you need to know the difference between conversion cost and prime cost. The minimum you need to know the difference. Let me summarize it. Conversion cost is manufacturing overhead plus direct labor. Prime cost, direct labor plus direct material. Something for you to remember. Direct labor in both. Okay. So if you need to produce something, you need material and you need direct material and direct labor. Therefore, it's called the prime cost. If you need to convert something, you need labor and you need overhead to convert something into a finished product. So hopefully this will help you remember how to memorize this. Hopefully those questions will help you understand the basic cost terminology concept that you will need to see, that you will need to know for the BEC CPA exam as well, and a managerial as well cost accounting course. Study hard and good luck, especially if you're studying for your CPA or for that matter your CMA.